Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to another recording session of Hearthstone. So a new patch has come out and it's added 35 new quests and we've got one of them. And they're supposed to be a lot easier to get things done. So this might be a great turning point for me in particular, in which I'll just have less work to do. So this one is play warrior class cards. Not that difficult to do, but it does mean we may end up changing our decks every now and then, which kind of ruins the system I was using before, making a new deck every time there's a new expansion and then kind of just ignoring it and living with it. Let's get into a game though. We got Tavern Brawls to do, Hunter Mage, Shaman. I guess we'll try the Shaman here. I got watch and learn quest, so let's open that. I guess I should have waited and we could have done this later. Because we're going to do the Tavern Brawl first, and so that's an issue too. That's going to give us a card back. So Shift Con. Interesting, since the Nintendo... no, that's called Switch. Never mind. Swap stories with fellow shifters at the Tavern Shifter Convention. Choose a class. You will then fill your deck with shifters and spells. Okay, fine. Well then, I guess all I need to do is take Shaman. Some of the Murloc cards have been changed so they only affect your side. Which really is only a minor change, but it is definitely a change. So minor that they won't even give you a full dust refund if you are upset about the change. But what it means is, if you are playing a Murloc deck and your opponent's playing a Murloc deck, some of the power-ups that would have gotten both Murlocs crazy powerful now don't get everything pearled up as crazy powerful, which is fine. It probably makes for a better, smoother, more balanced game, because it really is, with some of those power-ups, it may very well be whoever goes first wins. Interesting, we're starting on the second turn instead of the first. So, we can play this. We can play this. And that's it. Long list here of things to talk about, although I guess one of them is the Hearthstone stuff. In fact, there's several things about Hearthstone, so let's just, I guess, start with that. Let's see, give something else taunt.
Practice makes perfect.
Started stronger. So, let's see. Hearthstone Arena stats have been released. So, not actually in Hearthstone, but just through their blog. They're going to release some stats about players who, what goes on each month on the arena. And it's very informative, actually, for some stuff. So, the top 3 players are last month, I assume, as of this recording. So, what would that be? That would be September, I bet. Would be the right month there. Yeah.
I must safeguard the land.
Okay, we'll go ahead and play this. I assume this is September 26th. The top 3 players are Alum, ALUM, and then Battle Pants, than Crip. So Crip's opinion, I know him. He gets a lot of interviews and article things. He plays stream all the time. Twitch streams it all the time. And of the 3 players, he by far has played the most number of games. In fact, he played a whopping 513 games. So, to understand that, in comparison, that's 18 games per day, every day for a 30-day month. About, yeah. That's insane. It's a real insane amount of games. But he is actually third because he only wins 7.387% of the time. Where Alan, who only played 184 games, won 7.619 times on average. So that none of them are getting 12 victories. They're barely averaging 7. So that when I get 0 victories, I mean, I guess I can take some solace in the fact that even the best players by these stats don't get to 12. They certainly do get to 12 on occasions, but not always. Because the arena is just giving you random cards, and eventually, if the cards mean anything at all, they will affect your gameplay. Battle Pants played 125 games, won 125 games in that month, and on average won 7.584 games. The fact that they can go to a 3rd digit just is another example of the craziness of how much they played.
Feel nature's wrath.
I wonder if I should just throw this guy out here.
Job done.
Let's see. Crip had 95-12 wins. So, of his 513 games, he won 95 games with 12 wins. Then, on top of the blog talking about that, there's a lot of other kind of useless information, like what cards were used the most in each class, which, for me, for my level of playing, is useless. It's like, well, okay, does that point to the better cards? If I need to know what the better cards are, and I really cared about that, I would just go to whatever that website is that everybody knows that rates cards in value, and just sit there and build the best decks possible that the meta game people know, and
Such big teeth I
do all of that. Let's see. So yeah, I found that only the top tier information particularly useful for me. So that took up like 4 lines on my list here, writing all that information down. Keeping that small and concise is a bit of a problem, and I've filled up my list here with topics, so it certainly could be part of that. So yeah, I talked about Hearthstone has 35 new quests, which may very well change how long I have to play, which may very well help. It has some Murloc changes that we'll see if we can play a Murloc game. And I've written something here so small I can't even Read it. Oh yes, choose your champion. That's the other thing. They're doing another thing outside of their actual game, in which they are.
You're not.
I can't get past this guy, can I? Not yet. Alright, I'll end my turn. So they're doing another thing outside their thing, where there's a tournament going on for Hearthstone. There's roughly, I would say, 12, 13 people playing in the bracket tournament. Top players of Hearthstone. I don't recognize any of them because, frankly, Alum, Battle Pants, and Crip are all streaming arena things and not doing resources. So I cynically picked, of the 3 South Korean players, I cynically picked the one that looked like they were the most business as far as that. And just picking somebody guarantees you 1 card pack. You get more card packs if they win. So, and the esports player seems to be fighting for at least over some portion of a prize pool of $1 million. So, not knowing anyone, I picked the one guy I figured would probably be a good, decent plot, and that's all you have to do. For now, there's 2 entry periods, which I don't particularly understand why there were 2 entry periods, because I think there would just be 1 entry period up to the running up of the beginning of the tournament, and then all bets are locked in. And so 3 card packs doing it. I would recommend everybody look up Hearthstone's blog and find out.
The elements obey me.
So the good question is, should we go 30 minutes? I don't think we can go 30 minutes. It's been 12 minutes just to do this one. So let's move on to other things. Right now there is a DDoS of dynamic DNS, which I believe my router uses that too because of my server, which I might as well mention it. I went and looked at my server, and the SSD, not the big hard drives that hold everything, although there was nothing really on the big hard drives that hold anything because I had already lost all that data, but the SSD that had the operating system and all the configuration, which was a mess and needed to be formatted and reinstalled from scratch anyways, but the SSD has just completely failed. So that means configuration files that I would have preferred would have been nicer. I was hoping to destroy one of his cards with that spell, but it didn't happen. Interesting. So yeah, that SSD just failed completely. Like, even the BIOS doesn't recognize it most of the time. I got to show up once, and then as it started trying to boot up, it just failed. So it's one of those things where I'm not sure there would be any feasible way to get that. Let's see, we played one warrior class card somehow there. Instead of doing shaman again, let's try hunter now. We'll just switch between the two because hunter has a better ability that would help it. So yeah, that thing has just failed, which means I need to buy a new SSD. Ideally, what I would want to do is get a PCI Express M2 card. One that had a faster rate than the 500 megabits per second that my current SSD has, and I bet that I'm not seeing anything that's really like that. It's like, I think that may very well be the next generation of SSDs from the top of the line people, or as far as the consumer level. And
Bring it on!
because of that, I'll probably just buy the same style SSD I have right now with a larger capacity, and then go through the hassle of copying over my Windows 10 operating system that I have right now to that larger capacity, because right now I have a 256. I kind of need a 512. Games are getting bigger, recordings are getting longer. I filled up my hard drive
back to your
a
homes.
lot.
Job's done.
So it wouldn't be a bad idea to have more space. Now, what I wanted to do was get a bigger capacity and then have that 256 hard drive in the same computer as just recording. So there could be a ridiculous amount of recording.
Can I help you,
Not
sir?
really necessary, because I do have like a 5 terabyte regular hard drive that's slower, that's getting backed up. So let's go ahead and do this.
So many wonderful poisons. Back.
So yeah, so the plan now would be to get a bigger SSD for my main computer, fix that problem, take the old SSD that is in my computer right now, and use that as the new operating system for my server, which is going to take an incredible amount of time to set up, and I don't have time for it. I'm already very much cheating here with Zen Pinball, because I'm doing an hour of Zen Pinball every
I
day,
must safeguard
and it's
the
going to
land.
go into 2017. There's enough tables, like an hour per table is enough to just push that entire time slot to a really
I can wait and fish all day.
friendly minion until the next turn. Let's see. Deal 2 damage. There we go.
Back.
So yeah, I don't know when I'm ever gonna get to that. Finances were kind of good until this point. In fact, I chose to buy more Lego than buy more video games, because I have so many video games, and it's not now an issue of like, it's not an issue of not having the games. It's an issue of time. I'm still not really to the point though where I could buy like $3 $60 games as are brand new. Partially because I don't of time, partially because let's see. There we go. Partially because I don't have time, because I'm not recording enough. So maybe with the cheat of Zen Pinball, maybe with getting everything 3, 4, 5 months ahead of time, if I can do that really fast, then I could start doing some big ticket games. Are there huge big ticket games on the horizon that I want to play? Not really. The only one I've even slightly been upset about not getting is Abduction, which Abduction was 100% just going to be like The Witness, in the sense that it would be a new game I would play as soon as it came out, and there really wouldn't be that many people watching it. delayed games. The Darksiders Warlord Wrath Edition remaster has been delayed. I still am not certain if I'm going to get that for free.
Do I have to?
And Star Trek Bridge Crew has been delayed. I don't think I can ever get that game because I think you have to have VR and lots of people working together on it, which that's never going to happen, not at least anytime soon. Let's talk about some of the weirder news things. So, Rick and Morty co-creator Dan Harmon is making a show about esports players for YouTube Red. So, wanted to make sure that was YouTube Red because I thought for a second maybe it was for ESPN.
Take your candle.
There we go. Also on YouTube Red, they have ordered and thus paid, or maybe not particularly paid, but
Shields off. Red alert.
paid some amount to a production company to make a time-traveling show with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. So this again is incredibly frustrating. I've ranted about this before. It just goes to show where YouTube is trying to be more and more this TV channel, this production company style thing that is going to end up ruining YouTube potentially, because as they start spending more and more money, I mean, YouTube is spending a lot of money here to get their favorites here, their good shows happening, and it's the fear is that eventually YouTube is just gonna say, all you other YouTube streamers, all you other YouTube people, get off our channel. We don't care. We only care about Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, and Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson wants $1 million, so we can save $1 million by kicking off 1 million small people, and that's the danger.
Class.
In my head,
I am ready to look.
this is what you see over and over and over again with TV channels. It's like, oh, you liked that TV show? Canceled. It didn't make enough money, or I didn't like it. My wife didn't like it. I'm some bigwig manager. In fact, I went into a huge rant because Fox did a new version of the Rocky Horror Picture Show, and they just did not understand what that play is about or at all. And so they changed it in some really horrible ways to me. And yeah, that's the fear. We're gonna start getting TV interference on YouTube. We're already kind of seeing it. The attempt to be family friendly is already there. So it's just going to be more and more control, or more and more cancellations, and that's where it's going to start, in my opinion. Where YouTube got big by just being a hands-off, this is where everybody posts everything and they don't want to be that. And so something is probably going to eventually replace YouTube if they can't resolve and fix that. if YouTube wants to promote anybody, which they either should promote nobody, or they should just randomly promote things. They need a random tab. They need to stop on their Twitter and their YouTube gaming channel and all that, just promoting the same people over and over again. Contracts seem to be happening between production companies and stuff like that. A perfect example of this is like Vimeo. Like, how many music videos are on YouTube that aren't made by Vimeo or Sony Music or WB, Warner Brothers Music? When you ask that question, it becomes rather obvious that there is just,
done.
in that aspect already, monopolies happening. Or maybe not exactly monopolies, as oligarchies, or if that's the right phrase, or duopolies or multiopolies. There's 3 or 4 companies that own all the music on YouTube right now. And if YouTube just said, well, if you post anything in the category of music and you're not with these companies, we're gonna just kick you off of YouTube entirely. Which they're effectively already doing that, because they're not promoting that. You never go to the music tab. I don't go to it that often, but I've never seen on any of the music tabs, here's somebody singing a new song, here's somebody singing a cover, here's an unsigned artist. It just doesn't happen.
The shadow engulfs us.
So let's hit this, and then let's play Evolve,
Job's done.
and then end the turn. So did YouTube? Yeah. Well, YouTube did one nice thing, I suppose, is we're not making any progress here. I don't know when I should stop this recording. I guess I need to stop it at 30 minutes because we'll try to get 3 recordings here. They did one thing right. They denied Samsung's DMCA, which it's really important to remember that there is the DMCA real form, and then there's YouTube's DMCA process form that is not really the legal form. Thus, YouTube, I think, as I understand it, I think YouTube has some different abilities there, because I think legally, if you sent the real DMCA forms to YouTube, they have no chance whatsoever to fight it. They have no choice.
I moves quickly.
But if you go throughout their internal system, they can change it. Now, maybe some decisions have come down in the court cases that's changed. You would think, particularly for Samsung, if they knew this, or their lawyers knew this, they would have sent the real form and not gone throughout their own entire system. And this is, again, separate from the Content ID system, which is completely extra legal and has, like, no connection whatsoever to it. Just keep hitting people in the face, I suppose. So, Samsung, somebody made a video in which they had made a Grand Theft Auto mod that turned the bombs or plastic explosives or whatever that are in the game to look like Samsung Galaxy Note 7s, the phone that's been blowing up.
Did someone say bomb?
For some reason, they said that they had a copyright on that. Do you have a copyright of every appearance of your phone? Every parody of it? Every thing? Like, if the President of the United States is at a press conference and he pulls out his BlackBerry phone, and if they're still using BlackBerries, I don't know what they're using now.
Quickly.
does BlackBerry then say we have a copyright on that phone? You can't show that phone on television? I don't think so.
The Ancient One
I
calls.
think there's a difference there. Particularly, I think it would be protected under parody, at the very least. So, as far as the story is saying, YouTube's rejected that claim and put the video back up, which is kind of cool. And YouTube, some department within YouTube is at least not going in the wrong direction. However, what does it really matter if their copyright system is trying to strengthen fair use and cut back on the abuse of DMCAs, when the next danger around the corner is that the obviously more powerful division in YouTube is trying to turn YouTube into a completely different service. It's trying to turn it into a cable channel.
Are you afraid of the dark?
Let's go ahead and end the turn here. So let's see. Do I want to cover anything else, or do I want to just wrap up here? Well, I guess I could say the Xbox app iHeartRadio now allows you to stream in game.
Behold the might
That's
of
cool for
Stormwind.
people with Xbox One. It's a cool idea in general. It wouldn't work for a YouTuber and streaming and all that, but I see the general idea being helpful for regular players. Razer buys THX. See, I'm just gonna go through this list here, so this will be the last thing. So, Razer, which I believe is owned by Dell, bought THX, which was George Lucas's attempt to improve the audio quality in many decades ago in movies.
Don't mess with custom.
So. Do damage to 2 random enemies. I'm gonna lose again. Why am I losing on these quests? Is a good question to ask. I don't know. Well, the problem with this tavern brawl, and obviously they haven't fixed it, and they haven't done the mega tavern brawl, which I don't know if I talked about it separately besides that video, which I got out way too late and didn't get any views.
Let me change your mind.
Is certainly my fault for having insomnia because I'm not waking up at the right times. Obviously, I need to be awake and looking at Twitter around noon my time, because that's when the things start happening. So, yeah, this tavern ball is just too random. I think next recording we need to just play some regular stuff, because we're not going to make any progress at this rate. We need to just switch over to some regular play. Anywho, that's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment if you want to, and watch every second of my videos. All of that helps out. I do feel like my recordings are now becoming just 30 minutes, and they may get down to 20. They may get down to 15 with the new quests. Anything is possible. It may be that it's like 5-minute recordings, single games per day. It could go that low if I can get the quest done, and I can spend less time playing Hearthstone, and there's less news happening over and over again. And this has been a big news week compared to the past 2 weeks, or past week at least, and it's still not enough. The thing is, I don't have enough to say about these things. I would have to think of ways to speculate on what's happening more and continue and learn the gift of gab and continue talking like I am now because I'm supposed to be wrapping up. I don't even know if I said click on the support button to make a donation on my main YouTube page. So we'll skip that. Oh, well, I just said it now. And finally, down below in the description box are links to all my social media, so follow and friend me on all of that. This has been a terrible wrap-up of a recording, but otherwise, okay. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.